us to look at the story of the day. The South African Commercial Catering and Allied Workers Union, SACAWU, will hold discussions with their members on the Pick n Pay self-service till points. The union says Pick n Pay's self-service till points will lead to job losses, and the union is expected to make a decision on what action to take next against Pick n Pay's self-service till points. Now, Trade Union Federation COSATU decried the news of self-service tills and says they will lead to unemployment in the sector. And the first of its kind till points in South Africa's retail market were tested at the supermarket's Observatory store in Cape Town. And whilst the unions are planning to boycott the new machines, the SACAWU is expected to hold discussions with its members on what action to take next. And on the streets, ANN7 got mixed reactions from South Africans. Let's take a look.
Well, based on this economy, a lot of technology is also taking over a lot of people's positions. So in the society that we're living in, I don't think it's something that is unusual.
I think it's going to make shopping easier, especially because, you know, when you're in a queue, somebody else can see maybe your pen when you're actually at the till, swiping or anything. So if it's alone and you're doing it yourself, I think that will be more better because you're going to be secured and doing it yourself.
Well, of course, in our economy, job loss or lack of jobs is already a problem. So to have more jobs than disappearing on us is going to be a big loss for the people of the country, actually.
And joining us on the line is COSATU spokesperson Sizwe Pamla and the SACAWU Deputy General Secretary Mduduzi Mbongwe on the line. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for your time. Mduduzi, let's just deal with your concerns around the self-service till points. What are your concerns?
Firstly, we believe that all South Africans should work towards addressing the critical challenges that have been identified, the challenge of unemployment, poverty and inequality. From our point of view, these machines will not address that problem. In fact, they will exacerbate it. Secondly, we of the view that management has acted unilaterally in that they failed to consult the union on the introduction of this technology.
All right, so let's just, sorry, Sizwe, Mduduzi, does the management of Pick n Pay, are they obliged to consult with the unions every time they introduce a new innovation or, you know, streamlining their business? Are they obligated to consult?
Yes, arising from the collective agreements that we have with them, which commits to looking at the conditions of workers as well. So anything that will impact negatively on jobs of workers and their working conditions can't just be introduced unilaterally. That's our argument.
All right, so is there a flouting of regulation, if you will, on the part of Pick n Pay?
We won't call it a regulation as such, but we talk of the collective agreement that exists between the parties, as well as the culture and tradition that has been there. It's our view that there's been a serious deviation from the values and principles that have been established by Raymond Ackerman, the founder of the company, who believed in the philosophy of the table with four legs, one of the legs being employees as stakeholders within the company.
All right, Sizwe, how can the unions then stop this process now that it's been piloted, and depending on the market reception, if the consumers enjoy this kind of service and Pick n Pay implements it, how do you prevent it from creating job losses?
Well, like we have said, we are sitting down with our affiliates, SACAWU, to look at ways of actually pushing back and making sure that Pick n Pay firstly sit down with the unions and workers to explain the motive behind this decision. Because for us, we don't believe that these self-service takeout machines are just being introduced because Pick n Pay is trying to be innovative. We have our own suspicions to say this is a deliberate ploy to actually render workers redundant because any time when you introduce something new and you know you've got stakeholders, you inform the stakeholders. But if you start to do things unilaterally, then you create an environment of suspicion. So we are going to sit down with SACAO. We are going to explore all the avenues available to us. And as and when we have managed to resolve on those avenues, we will then make those public and then mobilize workers around those activities.
All right, Mduduzi, just final word. What is the next step, and when do we hear about what SACAO is planning to do next?
Obviously, we are a mandate-driven organization. We have members whose jobs we must secure, and we'll be consulting extensively with members. By the end of next week, we'll be announcing our plans and as to how are we going to take forward the battle to protect jobs.
All right, Mduduzi, thanks so much. That's Mduduzi Mbongwe, Deputy General Secretary of SACAO. On the line, Sizwe Pamla as a COSATU spokesperson.